Water quality, providing water that tastes good, water that is as safe as possible to drink, and water that will always be there when needed. These are the primary goals of the Contra Costa Water District's Los Vaqueros Reservoir project. After a decade of planning, permit seeking, and negotiating with a host of federal, state, and local agencies, the Contra Costa Water District broke ground in September 1994. Now, the $450 million construction project is nearly complete. Its purpose is to improve the quality of drinking water and the emergency backup supply for the 400,000 people served by the district. The Los Vaqueros project involves construction of a new intake facility at Old River on the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta, 20 miles of underground pipeline, the relocation of a major road, and the construction of a 192-foot-high earthen dam. When filled, the Los Vaqueros Reservoir will hold 100,000 acre-feet of good quality water. In this third year of construction, the Old River facility was full of activity. Located further away from the bay than the district's present intake, Old River is where the promise of improved water quality can be met.
The key benefit is the water quality. About 70% of the benefit of the project is simply moving the district's intake farther up into the delta.
Once the soft peat soil was secured with 1,400 stone columns and pilings, the intake structure began to take shape. A temporary cofferdam enabled construction to proceed without the river's interference. 5 massive pumps, each weighing 13 tons, were lifted into place. Their combined capacity will be about 112,000 gallons per minute. Meanwhile, giant surge tanks arrive by rail. The surge tanks will be half filled with water to dissipate pressure coming from the pumps. They will act as shock absorbers to protect the Los Vaqueros pipeline system. On the face of the intake, the district installed fish screens, extra fine screens with openings of less than 1/10 of an inch. They are designed to deter even tiny fish away from the pumps.
The fish screens are there to keep fish from being sucked up into the pumps. The river velocities are much higher than our approach velocity to our screen. So the theory is that the fish will stay out in the river and go right on by and not even feel the effect of the pumping plant.
An automated scraping mechanism will keep the screens clean of vegetation and other debris. Most of the pipeline for the Los Vaqueros project is made of reinforced concrete. Each 24-foot section of pipeline weighs 30 tons. For pipeline installation, large excavating equipment often removed as much as 30 feet of earth to create a trench. A gravel base was then laid down for the pipe to rest on. After the pipe was placed into the trench and joined, the final step was to bring in the backfill, covering the pipeline and protecting it. Near the Old River facility, a new transfer station also is completed. The transfer facility is the keystone, a 3-way link between the Old River intake, the reservoir, and the Contra Costa Canal, the district's main transport artery to customers for the past 50 years. The Los Vaqueros project reached a major milestone with the completion of the Old River intake this summer. The temporary cofferdam removal allowed water to enter the pumping facility. Testing of the pumps began. Water rushed from Old River into the Contra Costa Canal. For the first time, CCWD customers received water quality benefits from the Los Vaqueros project.
Now, with the intake basically operational, we should start introducing that water on a very routine basis. So far, things are going quite well. So yeah, it is quite a milestone here for the district.
The most dramatic construction progress took place at the site of the Los Vaqueros Dam. Before winter rains could flood Kellogg Creek, which runs through the site, the district constructed a diversion channel and dam.
The purpose of the diversion dam is to divert the flows in Kellogg Creek around the construction area so that allow you to proceed with construction. Without it, the creek would basically run right through the middle of your construction area.
At the dam site, work on the left abutment filled rock joints or natural cracks that were discovered in the sandstone foundation.
What we did is a combination of grouting and actually excavation. We excavated out approximately 3,500 yards of rock. We've taken out all the rock that the joints were in, and we're placing back in that open space concrete. So essentially it's a big concrete plug we're putting in the place of where the joints previously existed.
This work was reviewed and endorsed by the California Department of Safety of Dams, as well as a panel of world-renowned dam construction experts. Major construction activity focused on building the base of the dam. In addition, activity included grouting the dam base and sides.
Grouting is one of the ways we seal off the water from flowing underneath the dam. And we do that by drilling a series of holes along the foundation, along the bedrock. There's 6 rows of them, and we drill those and we inject grout. Grout is cement and water, and we put it in under pressure.
Near the foot of the dam, on the downstream side, is the outlet structure. It will bring water in and out of the reservoir. On the upstream side, the inlet structure will rest underwater. Its pipeline has 5 gates, so water can be released from varying depths, depending on where the best water quality is at the moment. Work was also completed on the spillway. This will eliminate any possibility that the dam could be overtopped by higher water. A graphic cross-section of the dam reveals how this earthen structure is designed. The upstream shell is sandstone, strong and compacted. This part of the dam will be facing the water, carrying its own set of challenges.
Riprap is the large boulders we're going to put on the face of the dam to protect it from wave erosion caused by the high winds in this area. The heavy rock on the outside dissipates the energy of the waves, thereby eliminating erosion of our dam.
The downstream shell is made of claystone, a very tight substance of clay turned to rock. This heavy material must stand secure against the force of the water on the upstream side. The clay core is an impervious, sticky material. It has expansive properties and can close up cracks and swell shut if necessary. It is expected that some small amount of water will seep through the upstream shell and into the clay core, and the dam is designed for that. However, it's essential that the water not reach the downstream shell because its strength would be compromised. Thus, the dam will have a filter and drain blanket made of sand and pea gravel to capture any excess water and transport it away from the shell. Once the dam is completed in 1998, the second delivery option can begin to assure improved water quality for the district.
The second primary mode of delivery would be to the Los Vaqueros Reservoir. We'd pump water up to the transfer facility, about 200 feet, and then at that point we have to lift the water an additional 250 feet up to the Los Vaqueros Reservoir, and that is done with the transfer pumps through the transfer pipeline up to the big reservoir.
During times when the delta becomes salty from bay intrusion, water from the Los Vaqueros Reservoir will be released for delivery to district customers. For the district, this means greater flexibility in its quest to ensure water quality.
Once the reservoir is filled, we can then release water from the Los Vaqueros Reservoir through the pipeline and then back up into the canal. And that would all be by gravity.
From the beginning, the Los Vaqueros project has been designed and built with a healthy respect for the environment.
We are mitigating all significant impacts to a less than significant level, and that was a mandate that was placed upon this project by our board. The district took this on with an attitude that we were going to do this project right, and we've taken on developing a project with a high level of integrity, and we are proud to have been able to negotiate a very complicated permitting process.
Throughout the project, environmental mitigation has been evident everywhere, from the planting of thousands of oak tree saplings and acorns, to construction of kit fox crossings, to carefully not disturbing a pair of golden eagles and their chicks. For 2 years in a row, during the breeding and nesting season, CCWD stopped construction activity within a half-mile of this nest.
The golden eagle is not listed federally as either threatened or endangered. It is, however, a species of special concern to the state of California, and so we have to ensure that our heavy construction doesn't disturb this pair and that its whole breeding cycle can occur naturally.
The Contra Costa Water District also takes its stewardship of the reservoir and the watershed seriously. It's developed the Watershed Management Plan, an operating blueprint for fulfilling water quality, environmental, public safety, and other requirements, as well as a program to develop recreation. A series of public watershed walks took place to give the public a chance to experience the exquisite nature of the Los Vaqueros watershed and CCWD's commitment toward it.
The Los Vaqueros Reservoir is a water quality reservoir. It is going to help us blend down the salt that we have from the Delta, and if we ever have an emergency in the Delta, it's a reservoir that will help us get through the emergency period. And over $100 million of this project has been to acquire 20,000 acres of watershed, and that's why we're here today. You're going to walk through the watershed, you're going to see what it is that now the public owns.
With this particular watershed walk, it's really to expose people to the variety of flora and fauna, to give them a sense that the possibilities for hiking and other kinds of recreational experiences that are in this watershed.
As far as the area, it's very interesting because of the different habitats. And I can hear things out here calling in the brush.
It's an excellent resource, again, rare and endangered species, a wealth of wildflowers, native plants, native animals, and cultural Native American resources as well.
This one is pineapple weed. It's also called chamomile, and it comes from Europe, and it's the same plant that's used to make chamomile tea. It's very bitter and it doesn't taste good.
We need more areas like this where we can hike and where families can come out and picnic.
Good, safe, high quality, reliable water. This is the commitment of the Contra Costa Water District. And the Los Vaqueros project is one of the many ways that commitment is being met.
It's certainly exciting, and I think that the finished product will be something that is useful to a lot of people.
There's a little bit of everything on this job, and that's been fun for me.
To see in this last 6 months the progress, it is awesome.
The resources that are available here are just a short distance from the greater Bay Area, and I've been coming out this area all my life, and just a beautiful place to hike, a beautiful place to get away and enjoy some solitude out here in nature, and it's right at the public's fingertips.
The Contra Costa Water District built Los Vaqueros Reservoir to improve water quality and reliability for 400,000 people in Central and East County. It took 6 years to obtain the proper environmental approvals before CCWD broke ground in 1994 on the reservoir site, located 9 miles south of Brentwood. In 1998, the district completed construction of the 100,000 acre-foot reservoir, and thanks to a very wet El Nino weather pattern, the reservoir was full after just 1 year. Providing high-quality water, protecting the environment around the source of that water, that is the district's mission. As federal and state rules are changed to provide greater protection to the public, the challenge of delivering safe, healthy, high-quality water will only get tougher for water agencies throughout the nation. Clean water is a matter of public health.
From the snowflake all the way to the water meter, we are the protector of the public's health. That's a very heavy responsibility. We take it seriously, and that's why we've made the type of investments that puts this agency at the forefront of public health protection.
The Los Vaqueros Reservoir is the district's keystone for water quality. Its operation complies with strict environmental requirements. That is why pumping at the Old River Intake near Discovery Bay occurs when fish in the Delta are not spawning.
We've provided a state-of-the-art fish screen that ensures that fish don't get trapped and entrained in the pumps when we're pumping. The net environmental benefit comes from the fact that the project allows the district to avoid any diversions at at all during certain sensitive periods for the fishery. So when delta smelt are spawning, when Chinook salmon are present in that part of the waterways, Contra Costa will go offline and not divert from the delta for up to 30 days.
The reservoir holds 100,000 acre-feet of high-quality water from the delta when snow runoff from the Sierra is at its best. The water is pumped to the 48-mile Contra Costa Canal, treated at water treatment plants, and then delivered to the homes of 400,000 people throughout East and Central County. As a steward of public health, the district must simultaneously ensure the water in the reservoir is protected from pollution and employ the best technology possible in treating that water to prevent waterborne disease.
Well, I think the state of our utility is very good. We are now at the cutting edge of technology. We have made the investments in both instrumentation and technology to provide a high-quality, consistent source of water for our customers. We've stabilized our rates, which were an issue of concern when we started building the reservoir. So our customers can now say their utility is looking out in the future for them, looking to exceed by orders of magnitude any health standards that might be out there in terms of compliance, and providing them a stable source of water for the future.
The district has invested $100 million in state-of-the-art water treatment facilities. The Randall Bold treatment plant in Oakley, jointly owned with Diablo Water District, was built to use ozonation as the primary disinfectant. The Bowman Water Treatment Plant was upgraded to use ozonation as well.
Ozone is basically an oxygen molecule with an extra atom on it. It's O3. It's very reactive. That third atom wants to jump off and grab onto something else. And because of that, it's a very strong oxidant. So when we bubble the ozone through the water column, that extra little oxygen atom is looking for something to attack. Primarily what we're putting it there for is to react with microbiological organisms, the bacteria, the viruses, and the pathogens such as Giardia and Cryptosporidium. And because it is a very strong oxidant, it's a very effective disinfectant.
CCWD's concern in having a water supply that's safe to drink extends beyond the water treated or stored in its plants, tanks, and pipes. Source protection means protecting the land that drains into the reservoir or the watershed from chemical and microbial pollutants. While chemical pollutants are generally well known, it's the lesser-known microbial pollutants which have become a major concern. These types of pollutants are microorganisms such as E. coli, Cryptosporidium, Giardia, or hepatitis A. They cause diseases such as diarrhea, respiratory distress, heart failure, and in some cases, death. Such microorganisms can be found in the waste of warm mammals, including humans. According to the Center for Disease Control, microorganisms are responsible for 900 deaths each year and up to 900,000 cases of reported illness, some of which are untreatable. That is why it is so important to keep the watershed clean and free of contamination.
We are constantly monitoring the source water for all the different contaminants that could possibly come into our source waters, and we have very proactive management of our source waters and our reservoirs. I love going out into the field, determining where possible pollutants could be coming in, examining the water, analyzing what's in it, and then determining whether or not we have a problem and what type of management options we have to deal with this problem. It's almost like being a detective. I love my job.
Besides water quality monitoring, there is careful monitoring of the watershed environment and restrictions on grazing and the use of pesticides. There is also regular detailed observation of wildlife and habitats.
We look at one or two or maybe even 3 species and use them as an example to get a feel for what is happening to the watershed as a whole. In our case, we watch red-legged frogs, California tiger salamanders, and golden eagles.
Protecting the watershed is a community effort. Students from public and private schools in the district's service area, from elementary to secondary levels, have participated in CCWD's Watershed Education Program, helping to keep the watershed safe for the future.
This is just absolutely a perfect fit for us. Not only do we study water all year long, but third graders also study local history And when we do our local history unit, we talk about oak trees because Oakley was named for the oak trees that were in our area.
We're hoping that students will adopt a variety of areas within the watershed, and we will have signage up that credits each school for the area that they've adopted, and we do hope that students will come back and continue to be stewards and bring their own children back when they're older and say, this is the tree that I planted 30 years ago, and look at it now.
Looking ahead, the Contra Costa Water District is developing wonderful recreational opportunities in the 20,000-acre Los Vaqueros watershed. Soon, the public will be able to enjoy the reservoir and the watershed area.
But from the north, you'll be able to drive into the watershed area, and there'll be 2 staging areas for hiking and trail use. There'll be a visitor center and a large picnic area. From the south, that is from the Livermore side of the watershed area, you'll be able to drive into the watershed, and there'll be 2 staging areas, the largest of which is the marina staging and picnic area, and this will provide trail use throughout the western part of the watershed area, as well as access to the recreation marina, which will have rental boats, including sailboats, rowboats, and electric-powered fishing boats.
The Los Vaqueros watershed provides a beautiful open space for hiking, biking, horseback riding, boating, fishing, and educational opportunities. It belongs to the customers of Contra Costa Water District, who live and work in central and east Contra Costa County. The district's resource management plan will protect and enhance this environment, providing a safe drinking water source for CCWD customers, a rich ecosystem for plants and animals, and a source of tranquility and adventure for recreators. To accomplish all of this, the district is relying on the help from the community it serves.
I was sitting next to a youngster from Hidden Valley Elementary School in Martinez. She turned to me as we were driving past some beautiful scenery in the watershed, and she said, "Who owns this land?" And I said, "You do." And she said, "Wow."